Hi people, TS here, just speaking about Arsenal and Unai Emery and, just a brief evaluation of how things have gone so far in terms of the Premier League. Of course, we was dealt with two tough fixtures to start with. Of course, the first fixture at home against Manchester City. A lot of fans, including myself, went into that quite optimistic because we wasn't quite sure what sort of team we was going to play. We thought that we could get something out of that game. In the end, we ended up losing that game 2-0. Some notable points from that game was, I think a lot of the fans wanted to see both Lacazette and Aubameyang play that game. Cech looked suspect on the ball. Well, he's been looking suspect on the ball all throughout, but for that particular game, there was time he nearly actually scored an own goal. And I think playing out from the back in that game kind of it worked into Manchester City's favour, and unfortunately we lost that game 2-0, but there was still quite a few positives that we could see in terms of the defeat, which kept a lot of us quite optimistic. Then we went into our second game against Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge, and it was another game we thought our recent record against Chelsea hasn't been too bad. Although we hadn't beaten them at Stamford Bridge for some time, our recent record against them wasn't too bad. So we thought that, we'd have a good opportunity here to get a result. Within the first, 20 minutes, we was 2-0 down. Two kind of defensive errors. And the first one was more, I'd say, player positioning. Of course, Bellerin comes inside. Doesn't seem to be any communication to Mkhitaryan, who's meant to cover him, and then therefore they play a ball. Mkhitaryan's running back. He can't catch up at all, and we're 1-0 down. Then of course we had an opportunity for Aubameyang. He didn't, opportunity he expected to take easily on any other day. He didn't score that, and then from there on, they went up the other end and made it 2-0, which Mustafi come for quite a bit of criticism for that goal, because it was 1-on-1 with Morata, which again I don't really actually think it was his fault. It was 1-on-1. He cuts in, slips the ball, goes through his legs in the goal. I don't really personally believe that was his fault. But then after that, we went on a quite a mad spell from then on up until half time. We got it back to 2-2. And, if we'd taken our chances on that day, we would have been at least 5-2 up, which was quite frustrating knowing that, we had the chances and we just didn't take them. In the end, second half comes, it just seemed like it was going to end up with a draw. It didn't seem like it was going to score a third goal. Lacazette comes on, looks like we might actually do something here. And then in the end, Chelsea got the other end 3-2 and we lose that game. But again, there was many positives that we could see from that game. Many, many positives. And, we thought that if we can create that amount of chances against Chelsea, we can create that sort of amount of chances against anyone. And if we do that against anyone and actually take our chances, then, we're going to be in an absolute great position. And then our third game was against West Ham, back at home at the Emerys. We went 1-0 down to Arnautovic, who scored, and even some people thought that Cech could have saved that goal. And then of course we equalised with Monreal, and then in the second half we got our own goal, and then later at the end was Welbeck. That game was kind of similar to the Chelsea game, except that West Ham had the chances, they didn't take them. We didn't have as much chances, but in the end we took our chances and we won the game. I think West Ham was unfortunate not to, get a draw from that game, which would have done them some benefit, as bearing in mind now they've lost all 4 of their games. But that's another video, or for someone that supports West Ham, because it's not me. But, we was quite fortunate with that game. Of course, then we moved on to Cardiff last week. Another game that, we know that a team that comes out to the Premier League, they're going to be up for a fight. They're going to be, they've got nothing to lose when they play teams like us, because they're expected to lose. And it was a game that we knew, like, if we went there and blew them away, it'd be like it's Cardiff. But if you went there and scraped it out, people would say you had to scrape out a win against Cardiff. So it was like a catch-22. Again, we went 1-0 up very early. 10 minutes in, great header from Mustafi. And then we went to 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. In the end, winning by 3-2. But I'll tell you what, if the main thing I can take from those 4 games is that going forward, we're not going to have an issue. We've never really had an issue going forward. Only of recent we've had the players, but one thing now, it's mainly with someone like Bellerin, he's actually starting to put more crosses into the box. Before he used to run down the line and he's going to cut back inside, but now he's actually starting to put more crosses into the box. I think our main issue is the defence though. I'm not sure if the formation we're playing is best suited to us. I don't know. I feel at present that we might even need to play 3 at the back in some games, because the way our defence looks at times just doesn't look good, especially if we want to be doing this playing out from the back, receiving the ball from the back and playing out. I feel, if you go 3 at the back, I'm not sure what he's calling it. Is it 3-4-1-2? So now you go 3 at the back, let's say Mustafi, Sokratis, and then either you put Holding or Mavropanos in there. Then, of course, you got your left wing back in Monreal, your right wing back in Bellerin. You go into the middle. This is just a team that I would play as an example. You go into the middle, you probably have Torreira alongside, I would say, Aaron Ramsey. Although we still don't know what's going on with his contract situation. Just in front of them two, you'd go with Mesut Ozil, and in front of those two, you go with Lacazette and Aubameyang. Now, people might think that team's not, best suited defensively, but I think all over the pitch, as long as we don't have any passengers in that team, we can definitely dominate the middle. And of course, if players like Bellerin and Monreal push up, as in that wing position, and when they're dropping off when we're defending, at least we've got another player in the back 3 to help with the defensive duties. And then we've got someone like Torreira in front of them who, of course, is screening them and, meant to be doing that dirty work. So I definitely think a back 3 would benefit our play more. But, I have faith in the manager, and hopefully he can actually sort the defence. Because to be fair to them, individually they haven't looked so bad. I know some people will say about Bellerin, but I feel with Bellerin sometimes he's just not actually getting the protection from whoever's playing in front of him. He ends up in a lot of 2v1 situations, and that sometimes he does seem a bit easy to get past, I'll admit to that. But I think most of the time he's getting caught in a lot of 2v1 situations. But other than him, I feel that the rest of the back four that's been playing, individually, they all seem to be playing well. It's just as a unit, I think they haven't clicked yet as a unit, which is a bit odd, bearing in mind that only one of them that's new in the side is Sokratis. But I feel if he can get them to click as a unit, it'll do them the world of good. But personally, I still think for the time being, we maybe should go into some games with a back 3. That's my thoughts on Unai Emery's start as our manager in the Premier League. You can let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on this. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.